Okay.
Okay.
I think one of the most important things that PET does is enable you to classify the behaviors, both yours and your children's, that might be problematic. And it shows why and how. When we can classify them in certain areas, then we use certain techniques to handle those problems more effectively than others. Right? That's the sort of theory. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll just have some fun here.
Okay.
And I'm just going to show you. Here we go. Okay.
Good.
Coming in a minute here. Just switching over. There we go.
Okay, I can see it.
Good. Now, I'll just give you a little bit of a brief introduction to PET. And this guy, Thomas Gordon, you might have heard of him. He's the fellow that invented this in 1962. Been that long? Yeah, a long ago. And he came up with this thing that he called parent effectiveness training. And basically, this is him here. He was a psychologist. 50 years coming up in 2012, so almost 60 years now, and 53 countries around the world. Yeah, it's the oldest one. The oldest one. The oldest one. So that's just a little bit of an introduction. Now, I thought we'll have a little bit of fun first. Now, what I'd like you to do is to think this way. Now, give me, here's a rectangle, as you can see. I've divided this up into these areas, and they won't make much sense right now, but give me just your own sense of what is one problem you might have with your children or someone else's children. Just give me, and I'll put it into one of these boxes, and then I'll explain why we end up there.
Okay, I think for my daughter, sometimes for Monday, she feels the fear to go to school.
Going to school?
Yeah.
Okay, there's some problems. The child doesn't want to go to school for whatever reason.
Yes, especially Monday.
Right, right, Monday times. Okay, I'll leave that up here. Now, these are just suggestions here, and this won't make any sense until we've done a little bit of work, and then I'll explain to you what these initials stand for. But that's just one example. Won't clean the room, spends too much time on the phone, won't go to school. Okay, now you've identified with the one won't go to school. Can you name another one for me?
Another one in different category, you mean?
Well, no, just anything that comes to mind, and I'll put it in the proper category.
Okay. Like if I ask her to do some housekeeping work and she doesn't like to do it, she will resist.
Okay. That's what. So this one would be, I think, this one won't clean the room, right?
Yeah, clean or wash dishes.
Yeah, the housekeeping. Okay, won't clean the room. So housekeeping. Won't do housekeeping. Okay, good. What's another one?
Sometimes she use her phone for a long time.
Yeah, that's I think a pretty common one that I get from a lot of parents. That seems to be. Oh, that's good. Okay, well you've sort of chosen these three here. Yeah. All right. Now, what would be one? Can you give me one more, just off the top of your head? Off of anything.
It's a challenging behavior, right?
Yeah, a challenging one that really is really challenging for you or your child, or combined.
Maybe that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
More.
Let's go with these three now. you'll see here, here's a rectangle up here. Then I've got one in the middle, and I've got two at the bottom. And how we try to classify this to help you approach it in an effective way, and then show you what particular communication techniques go with that classification. This top one won't go to school. Now, how we divide it up is that who owns the problem? Okay, who owns the problem? Child. Yeah, so in this case, is it the child, or is it your problem, or is it both of your problem?
It's the child. Okay,
right. The child won't go to school. So that's the child, and C is child's problem. Exactly. Won't go to school. Now this one, you've got won't do housekeeping. Whose problem is that? Your child, or?
That's mine.
That's yours. Good. Parents. Yeah, exactly. So won't do the housekeeping. And this one, whose is this one? Spends too much time on the phone.
That's hers.
What do you think?
I think that's hers.
Okay, interesting. Now, in pet terms, we would put this as your problem, not hers.
Okay.
Your problem. Now, you'll notice that both of these, this whole triangle as a whole it's your problem. This whole triangle is your child's problem. Now, we've divided this into two. Can you see a difference between both of these in the pet way of approach are your problems? Okay, now, but can you see a difference between these two problems to you? You own these, whether you know it or not. From our point of view, you do. But can you tell the difference between these two? And there is quite a difference. And most parents don't get it, and we have to show you. So I'm just switching something here for a minute. Okay, back. Are you there? Oh, I hope I didn't lose you. Are you there? Oh no, I hope I didn't lose you. I think I lost you. I just switched over. Are you there? Hello? No, lost you.
Oh, sorry. I'm back.
Lost you. Okay. Okay. Can you see the screen still?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. So I was asking you, okay, what's the difference between your problem, they won't do the housekeeping, and your problem, they spend too much time on the phone? What do you think's the difference?
The difference is that I like to see the room clean. So that's like my intention.
Right.
And the difference to see her on the phone too long is I wish that she will have a good eyesight, not like not being hurt her eyes, and also maybe should get up, do something better for the body, to do some movement, exercise, rather than always sit too long.
Right. Now you're coming closer to what we did. Now I'm just going to fill this out. This is the parent's problem here, and you've agreed with that. Now how we turn this, we put this a needs conflict. This is how we term it, a needs conflict. We put this one as value. Let me link this out here. We put this as value collision. Now, can you see a little bit different here? What we try to do by classifying it this way, needs conflict, this has a tangible effect on you as a parent. If their room is dirty, it's going to take you time and energy to clean it up, right?
Yes.
So this is a needs. You have a need for a tiny room. They don't care. So this is what we call the needs conflict. Now, this is we call value collision, because whether they're spending more time than you think they should, this is not affecting you directly, unless maybe if they go over the time limit on the phone, then you'd have to pay for it. Then it would tangibly affect you. But it's really a value. You think they spending too much. They obviously don't. Oh, well, what's the problem? I'm just talking. All right. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
And this is quite big, because we show you how to negotiate for all of these, no matter whose need it is that needs, whose problem it is that has to own it. But by differentiating with these two, it can be really clarifying, because in this case, whether it's they say that they want a tattoo and you don't like tattoos on your children, but they value that, but you don't, it's much different than a needs conflict. And then we show you a particular way to handle, then the kinds of techniques to use differ for each of these, and we show you how to do that. Does that sort of make sense?
Yes, very good. Yeah.
So that's just a sort of a quick, a quick one. And then in the middle here we have just N. N means no one's problem. So they're watching TV and no big deal. You're fine. You're fine. No problem. So no one has ownership, because there's no problem. We don't need to worry about it. Okay?
Right.
Any questions about that one? Now,
no.
The next step we're going to show you, just a brief little share, is this behavior window now. Now, the whole idea here, we divide this into acceptable and not acceptable behavior. Say the dirty room is maybe not acceptable sometimes, maybe it's acceptable sometimes. And you can see over here we have the three components to determine whether something's acceptable or not acceptable. Yourself, how you're feeling, the environment itself, and then the child or the other person's involved in the whole thing. And what I want to show you with this is that this moves up and down. This moves up and down according to how you're feeling. For example, maybe one time in the afternoon, the child watching TV, it's a little loud, but you're in a good mood, it's no big thing. But another time you might be really tired and stressed, and the TV's up a little bit loud, and then it's not acceptable. So this would move up into this area, making the non-acceptable larger. And when you're feeling more in control of the environment, then that line moves down and you become more acceptable of things. So it's just a good way to give you an insight into how variable we are in meeting our need. And really, that's what it's all about. It's about meeting needs. All behavior, the way we approach it is, it's not like this magic word. We say misbehave. When do your children or your children that misbehave? Can you say?
When?
Yeah, when? I mean, can you sort of pick out a time when they do?
Yeah, when they do, I would.
Like when generally? What would you say they misbehave more sort of than less? Is there a time of day that?
Well, actually, if she watched using the phone too long, normally it's on the weekend.
Right.
Or in the evening after school.
Okay. Now, I particularly use this word because for us in PET, misbehavior is a non-word. we challenge that. We say there. Notice when you use the word misbehavior, unless you're unlike most people, you use it only with your children or your pets. Think about it. Okay? Do you ever say, my husband misbehaves, or my friends misbehave?
No.
No, no.
No.
This is what P.E.T tries to bring up. It shows us that, in fact, from our way of looking at it, there is no misbehavior. There's only behavior. We're only trying to meet our needs. But parents get into a role of their godlike role, and they think certain things are misbehavior and other things are okay behavior. So we get you thinking, no, every behavior is a trying to meet your needs. And so the behavior is either acceptable or not acceptable to you as their parent. And that's fine.
Right.
And a lot of parents get into a problem too, we find, with thinking that maybe, what's acceptable to me, my husband should also agree and we should be consistent. But no, we say you should be a person. And your behavior window is going to modify how you are. That line of acceptance is going to go up and down according to yourself, your environment, and whatever behaviors your child's exhibiting at the time. So
Yeah.
just a little bit of a taste of how that is. So in our first session, now how it works is P.E.T has 8 3-hour sessions. In the first session, we introduce this, what I've just shown you in the 2, and we get you to actually do role plays with us and get you to, own all of this yourself and act it out. So that's a little bit of for you.
Okay.
So what do you think? Anything somewhat new and a little different? So just
meeting.
Yeah, just a quick introduction. So
yes,
I wanted to share that with you. Thank you. And what I've got here, I'm just going to show you real quickly. Oops, no, that's not that one. This is the one. Here's a great infographic that we have that sort of covers all of the major things. We have 12 roadblocks. You can see them here: ordering, through avoiding. We have active listening. We have I messages. We have shifting gears. We have different kinds of I messages that we teach you. We have the method of conflict resolution. You can see the 6 stages. And then we have the behavior window that I've just been showing you now, where the child owns the no problem area, that you own it or both own it. And here's that values collision we talked about and needs. So yeah, just a quick one. And this one also I really like to share with people. It's one of the best ones that every parent should know. He gives these various principles, 15 of them. And the first one you can see here is what we were just talking about. Children don't misbehave.
Yeah.
And he says, misbehavior is a behavior bad for the parent. And so, yeah, it's just a brief thing. That be a person, not a parent. This is a nice catchword that I always try to use for all of you to think about, that to step out of the role of being a parent and be a person with needs that need to be met and behaviors that are acceptable sometimes and other behaviors are not acceptable. The same behaviors are not. So we don't need to be consistent as people. And most parents think we do. A big burden. So, all right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Any questions that you got for me to put up there?
Well, right now I'm okay. I feel it's quite practical training for the parents. But the parents also need to have a little bit more self-awareness, like they are aware of the behavior of the children, aware of their own judgment they are posing on the child, and then they need to further explore what they want for the children, the value, what they care, what they think is important, and then need to understand what the child feel is important for them. So I think this is very there's a lot of thinking behind for the parents to be calm, to calm down, and to spend some time to really study the behavior of the children and themselves.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I think what you're saying, that we're not aware that we put things like misbehavior, that we label it. We all tend to do this, and we don't really think about it. That does bring you into that area to examine the habits that you don't really even know you're doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just aware that when I say my daughter spent too much time on the phone, actually it's more about my okay, wait,
what you value. Right. She values,
wait, just switch the line to Ramil. He's
hey Ramil,
working.
hey, hard worker. Great. Wonderful to have a shot of the farm too, so
yeah,
have that. Great.
Yeah, so actually it spells out a lot of my concern, my good. I think something I feel important that the child I want her to have it.
Great.
But actually I did not look into why she spends so much time on the phone. I mean, what she was really enjoying, something that she feel important for her.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and we show you ways to actually talk and listen, so you both can come to an agreement and negotiate an agreement that makes you both happy with the outcome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, my friend, for allowing this to be. It's been great to have you, and you're the only one who showed up. It's nice to have you. Thank you. So
you're
hopefully we'll have a
welcome.
few more
It's
the next
good.
time. Okay.